and then you're blocking him because you don't want your own pockets to be affected. Just to give people some context, what you pump out from the earth is known as crude oil. Crude oil is not what goes into your car. You have to send crude oil to something called a refinery, and then the refinery then produces what it is that goes into your car. Crude oil needs to be refined in order for it to be processed into jet fuel, in order for it to be processed into your vehicle fuel, your diesel, your petrol, and all of that. What I've put on the screen is a top 20 of the world's largest refineries. Out of the top 20, Nigeria, Africa is 7th. And so you've got my uncle, his name is Dangote, a billionaire, a top man, an investor, someone that I look up to personally, and someone that I think a lot of, L as well. And I think a lot of young Africans look up to, Uncle Dangote as well, because it's not just about Nigeria, but it's about the whole African continent, which brings us to the next topic. He and his investors built a refinery in Nigeria. Nigeria has a lot of that crude oil. You guys saw from the list, Nigeria, Algeria, Libya, they've got a lot of that crude oil. And so it's the largest refinery on the continent. Literally, we just saw the list, 7th in the world, largest refinery on the continent. Why is it that as large as his refinery is, he's not getting any deals or any contracts to refine Nigerian crude oil? NNPC, I think, and they've come out and they've said, oh, well, the reason why Dangote doesn't have these contracts is because the quality of his oil, once it's refined, is not up to par. It's not up to standard. The people that are in charge of the crude oil in Nigeria don't want him to process Nigerian crude oil.
Dangote, I respect so much. This is a person I listen to every interview he says, because to be a billionaire and to be the status he is, you must be a very smart person. You're not fooling about. Because some people are tied into the oil business already, they're trying to cut him off.
The quality of the oil does matter. Bad quality oil can cause cancer. And so that's why PPM is very, very important. The quality of the oil in itself is extremely, extremely important. And the same people that are telling Dangote that, we don't want to give you the crude oil because your refinery is not refining good quality oil. So what Uncle Dangote did was he invited a bunch of people to his refinery, and he produced the end product from the refinery. And it turns out his end product, I think it's 10 ppm if I'm not wrong, his final product is actually better than the other products that these other people are refining. So the question begs, they don't want to let him in. And that's why I said corruption. They don't want to let him in. Because if you did let him in, right, it will be over for you.
The whole thing will flip. Yeah, the whole thing will flip.
It will flip. Nigeria has another refinery in Port Harcourt, way smaller, way smaller refinery in Port Harcourt. And that thing is a mess. It's not happening. I think it's a bit of a shame because here you have a private individual who has done the right thing, who many young people like myself and you, we aspire to, right? And then you're blocking him because you don't want your own pockets to be affected. You know how much money he put into that refinery? He's got investors in that refinery as well. The market should be fair. The government should look at what's fair and what's not fair in the market and then arbitrate. You can't just say, we don't want him to take the competition, so we're gonna slander him, because it's slander. If you're saying someone produces bad quality end products and you haven't looked at the end product, then you're slandering. Because he explained, he's like, if you want to check the standard of someone's oil, go to the refinery. Don't just look at a certificate, because we know in Nigeria you can Photoshop certificates. So it's like, go to the refinery, go to the petrol station.
Yeah, that's the man's integrity. The man's integrity of telling you, hey, if you think it's fake, test it for yourselves. Let's bring in some people to test it if you think it's fake. Yeah, that's integrity. Whereas I'm not lying to you. This stuff is good. But if you're still stopping that, then it's not the oil.
I think Africa has a long way to go, because Africa, in terms of corruption, it's limitless. There's all kinds of corruption in Africa. And if you're someone who is a private investor, if you're someone who is from abroad and you're looking to invest in Africa, and I'm not just talking about Nigeria specifically, I'm talking about the whole continent. If you're someone from abroad and you're looking to invest into Africa, these kind of things they put you off because now it's like even if you do the right thing, even if you build the right machinery, even if you produce the right end product, there's someone in the government that's going to stop you. Like, what kind of nonsense is that?
That's 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 very, 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 very disheartening to a point where you're so selfish or greedy or whatever. You just want all the money to come to you. And that's what's affecting a lot of African countries. And they know it too. They know that it's all going to add to the GDP of the country. But because you're selfish and you're self-indulgent, you're just going to be like, no, it's bad oil. We're just not going to take it.
Very good point. Because what happens is if you let Dangote, the largest refinery in Africa, take up all the crude oil in Nigeria, then Dangote gets to put a price, a retail price on refined oil. So I think that's maybe one of the
There you
things that
go.
they're scared of. They want to control the
Absolutely.
price.
Yeah.
So if you give it to Dangote, Dangote gets to tell you what the retail price for the oil is
Yeah.
if he's the one doing
Yeah.
the refining. Oh, Baba, we don't want to give that guy oil because it's going to take away the competition. So just say his oil is bad. Bro, who does that? It's only us, you know. It's only us, bro.
It's very disheartening where people want to invest into the country and there's a lot of red tape. And that red tape is not even, it's not even, that red tape is not even uh, fact based. It's just somebody's thoughts or somebody's, oh, I don't like it. Or you're not going into, you wouldn't do that in the UK. You don't go to Africa. You wouldn't just say, oh, he can't set up his company because I don't like it.